This is Mocrox Beach in Grays Harbor County, Washington. It's just south of the Quinault Indian Reservation. When I visited the beach on May 26th, the county had entered into Phase 2 since the COVID-19 related closures. The roads to the beaches were reopened, but the clamming season was not open to the public. Members of the Quinault Indian Nation were permitted to dig on this beach during specified low tide hours. Anyone who is not a member could be heavily fined for digging. The Quinault Indian Reservation encompasses an area of 208,150 acres of land, including forest, lakes, rivers, and 23 miles of coast. Quinault people are not restricted to the same harvesting regulations on the reservation. On certain designated days and times, the Quinault people can dig outside the reservation. On these days, such as this one, all clams must be sold to Quinault authorized buyers at the beach entrance. I spoke with a family who was out digging. In a little over 2 hours, they had caught an estimated 300 pounds of clams. They said this was a pretty good haul. It's not always this good. They could easily make several $100s off of this dig. Clam digs often happen in the late spring, late summer, and in the fall. On the Quinault Indian Reservation, there's an annual tradition called the Back to School Dig, where families go out clamming to sell and make some extra money for school supplies, new clothes, stuff like that. Clams are traditionally good for storage. They can be frozen, canned. Non-tribal members can dig at certain beaches on certain days of the year. These days can be found on Department of Fish and Wildlife websites depending on what state you're in. Prior to digging, a permit must be purchased. If not, you can incur a serious fine. Each person must be holding a permit on them during the dig. Once you've obtained a permit, each person can collect up to 15 clams. No matter the size or condition you dig the clam in, you are required to take that clam home with you. Even if it gets broken in the process of digging, you can be fined for not taking that clam home, and it will still be delicious no matter what. Scheduled digs are often posted on websites months in advance. However, digging can be canceled by the Department of Fish and Wildlife if the toxins in the ocean are found to be at too high of a level. When you're digging for razor clams, you have to dig at the lowest tide. You can find those times online, and those are often early morning or right at sunset. So be prepared to get up early or dig in the dark. When you go clamming, you need to bring the right tools. Shovels can be used, as most people do in the Quinault Indian Nation, but clam guns can also be used. When you're out clamming, it's important to bring a bag to keep the clams in, otherwise they will try and escape. Be prepared to get wet. Rubber boots are often worn, waders, that sort of thing. But if you want to get wet, wear tennis shoes. To find a clam, look for small holes or dimples in the sand. By stomping on the sand or banging your tools on the surface, you can see a clam show, as it's called. The clam senses the movement on the surface and tries to retreat, which kicks up a bit of sand and water, and sometimes you can see it bubbling to the surface. That's where you know to dig. These were some clams that my family and I dug last October. Unfortunately, I didn't get any video of us cleaning them, but it's a pretty straightforward process. You boil water, dunk each one in water for a few seconds until the shell pops open, and then you dunk each clam in ice water to separate the clam from the shell. Then you cut the guts out and rinse the clam meat under running water because there will often be a lot of sand in the clam body itself. We decided to fry the clams, but we didn't have too many ingredients with us. So we decided to make a quick seasoned flour with salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic. We also made a little egg wash by using a few eggs and a little bit of milk. We put a little bit too much milk in this, but you can just eyeball it. Normally when you fry clams, you might use something like panko breadcrumbs, but we didn't have that, so we decided to crush up some onion chips, potato chips, and use that as the breading instead, which was really delicious actually. The onion flavor made it really nice. Heat up a big pan with oil until it gets very hot. We also added some butter. I don't really know why we did that, but it worked, so go for it if you want to do oil and butter. We also wanted to make some sort of tartar sauce to go on the side to dip the fried clams in. So we made a really simple tartar dipping sauce with mayonnaise, pickles, and a little bit of salsa for flavor. It was really good. Once your oil butter mixture is nice and hot, take your clam pieces and dip them into the flour mixture. Make sure that it's coated all over, and then dunk it in the egg wash. After the egg wash, roll it around in the potato chips before putting it in the pan. Lay them out on their side and let them cook until they're brown, and then flip them over. Take them out of the pan when they're nice and browned up and crispy. You don't want to overcook them because the clams are already a little tough as is, and you don't want to make them turn into rubber bands. After our first trial recipe, we decided to go back for round 2 and make some fried clams with a beer batter instead. So we poured a little beer into our pre-existing flour mixture. The beer batter proved to be the simplest. All you have to do is dunk the clam pieces evenly in the batter and put it straight into the hot pan. The beer batter also browned up really nicely, and these looked a bit more attractive than the onion potato chip clams. They also had a really nice crispy texture, more so like fish and chips or something like that. And the beer batter tasted really good too. Load up your plate with clams and your homemade tartar sauce mixture and enjoy!